Hey guys, for any of you out there who really enjoy my videos, if you could help me expand to more people by sharing them to those you think would like to see, I would greatly appreciate that. Any subscriptions that get to my channel mean the world to me, and I thank you for your contributions. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about the sequels. As most of you know, there is still a lot of speculation as to what is going to become of them in the coming years. Some simple, others not so much. But I wanted to give you my take on what I believe the direction Disney and Lucasfilm will be taking with what they have established with the sequels, as well as their characters. Some seem to have gotten the idea that Disney's planning on retconning or erasing the sequels from canon because they haven't done a thing with the sequels since they've made them. Never mind the inconsistent logic that there was some 20-year gap between the original trilogy and the prequels, yet that was never a sign that the original trilogy would be getting erased. But apparently, for the sequels, if they hadn't made any new movies or shows revolving around these characters within the first 3 years of a pandemic where we saw very little new movies and shows coming out in Hollywood at that time, it meant there would never be such a thing to come at any point in the future. And that brings me back to the point of this video. What will this plan be? And I think I figured it out. And this isn't some overhyped, blown out of proportion, stop the presses breaking news thing, because I fully want to admit that I don't know if this is what will happen. This is purely my observation of past events and seeing a pattern that I believe makes the most logical sense. And I'll happily let you know that ahead of time instead of waterboard you for 10 minutes of crap before I admit that. So let's rewind the clock real quick. By the time Disney took the reins of Star Wars from Lucas, he had already established 2 preceding cartoons revolving around the prequels. Since then, we've received several shows expanding the context of the original trilogy era, even involving characters from the previous trilogy with connections to the later trilogy as well. Hell, we've even had 2 standalone movies that are getting each their own TV shows based around characters from that same time period, played by the same actors who played those characters in those movies. Following this train of events, the most logical conclusion to come to is that Disney and Lucasfilms are planning to release shows revolving around the sequel trilogy and its characters to expand the context. Think about it, whether we want to admit it or not, as I know we all love to love the prequels these days. I recall the dark time when people's opinions about it shared striking similarities with the sequels in oh so many ways. However, one of the easiest excuses for this revolves around the fact that the Clone Wars TV shows added an absurd amount of context to the story that for many people felt incomplete or lacking in many qualities that the original trilogy had. Surely, if people can be brought around to adoring the prequels after expanding the context with a few shows, the same could easily be done for the sequels. Seem far-fetched? That there's no possible way that could be the plan? Well, they appear to already be doing it, with shows like Resistance and The Forces of Destiny being the first of what could possibly be many shows to come to expand the context of the sequels. But add on to it the fact that Kathleen Kennedy is also reported to be in talks with getting the sequel cast back together, as well as fully admitting Lucasfilms intends to revisit those characters in the future, seems to be far more reliable sources to believe in than ones who rely on unnamed or unverified sources that report news which conveniently aligns with seemingly every single desire a certain portion of the fandom wants. But why take so long? Aside from the pandemic that could have, and most likely did, halt many of the projects in the works in Hollywood, we can still agree the backlash from the sequels is still a hot button issue for many. Perhaps the plan could be to win over the public's trust with shows expanding on the context of territories that have already a happy audience for, so when they do go into the sequels, people will be more optimistic. Though I am sure there will still be those who will blow every action made out of proportion as some end of the franchise thing, I believe by that point We'll have been through enough of these doomsday prophets with the fandom that hopefully people will see the final pattern. The one that comes along only when something new comes to the franchise, and there is a market for fanning the flames of people's anger. Hopefully, we break this pattern and choose not to listen this time. And that's today's video, guys. Thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed listening. If you have any topics you want me to cover, please post them down below. If you think I did a great job, please give me a like. I've got my app so I can see my dislikes, so hit that dislike as well if you want to let me know how much you love helping my channel expand by interacting with my videos. And again, for any of you guys who really enjoy my videos, if you could help me expand to more people by sharing them out to anyone you think would like to see them, I'd greatly appreciate that. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.